Stephen and Richard, we're at the Safety and Health Expo '09 and we've been promoting your new book for IOSH, Do the Right Thing, which is the practical jargon-free guide to corporate social responsibility. CSR is a bit of a catch-all term. What does it actually mean?
And thanks for inviting us to come along and talk to you this afternoon. We've just come off the main stage here. Hundreds of people have been hearing about corporate social responsibility. In a nutshell, it's half a dozen important themes. Certainly for health and safety practitioners, they're already working with a principal pillar of corporate social responsibility, protecting employees both inside the factory gates and up and down the supply chain is a very important component. Some of the other things that CSR include is environmental management in the traditional sense, as well as thinking about the cradle to grave responsibility for all the risks that the organisation may create. Other areas of interest would be community impacts. Sometimes organisations are working very closely with their neighbourhoods, and the neighbours, whilst wanting those organisations for the jobs, may not want them for the noise and the pollution. I think a fourth area is ethical trade, thinking very carefully about other people in the supply chain. For example, we all remember the organisation using children to stitch footballs on the Asian subcontinent. And finally, workforce rights, treating people properly in every way possible. I think inevitably CSR has attracted over the years a lot of thick, hefty tomes. Richard and my own view is that it doesn't have to be this way. The reason we called this book the Jargon-Free Guide is because very much we have removed all the jargon. The book is written and by safety practitioners for safety and health practitioners.
Now, Richard, some people would argue that tackling CSR issues is a job for governments and environmental charities and not necessarily private companies. How would you respond to that?
CSR is far more than just one responsibility of any one individual, week or organisation. We talk very much about the idea that it is a philosophy for everyone rather than just a function. Similarly to health and safety, you can't just say health and safety is the job of the safety practitioner. Same with environment, same with workforce rights, same with ethical trade. Corporate social responsibility is doing the right thing in all the right ways in all of these areas. Yes, businesses can legislate, organisations and government can legislate for them, but it's important that each of us take our responsibility, and as a business we think about how we can minimise the negative effects and maximise the positive effects.
So how can health and safety practitioners have a real impact on the CSR agenda in their own workforce?
Well, to some degree we're already doing it. We have to recognise that, as health and safety practitioners, corporate social responsibility started very much from, the 1802 Apprentices Act about protecting people. But at that time, actually slavery was still in place, so we had a very mixed bag on terms of what we thought a fair standard was. As a safety practitioner, we can look at all these areas, whether it's about expanding our career or whether we're the agent for change within our organisation. We are that real individual that can make a difference. We're used to that skill set. We know what we've got to do in safety. All we need to do now is apply it to these certain other pillars that we've talked about earlier.
The book includes a chapter on the 2012 Olympics, which has become this big example of how we can manage health and safety, construction safety, supply chain management, lots of big issues. What kind of impact do you think this project can really have on how we tackle CSR?
Well, it's already having an impact. I know that, Stephen, you're having a look at the awards for the Olympic Delivery Authority about health and safety standards and actually protecting workers now. But I think it's also a real opportunity for us to focus. We're not about doing it bigger, we're about doing it better. And I think it's a real focus, an opportunity for all of our businesses, all of our organisations to actually look towards the future and think, what do we want? In essence, the reason we put it in the book is a sporting event doesn't have to include any kind of corporate social responsibility angle. However, the Olympic spirit has really stood for doing the right thing, having the right philosophy, being the fair nation that we are and competing in the Olympic spirit. And that's your opportunity in corporate social responsibility. We all need a little hook for people to buy into safety, to environment, and we think the Olympics provides that opportunity. It also shows how we can drive it through the supply chain and make sure that we've got a legacy for the future, which is all about health and safety. We want to provide that legacy, and so do we do with the Olympics.
Like Richard mentioned the word legacy, And very much the spirit of the Olympics is, as Richard was saying, the idea that London will change. The regeneration of the Docklands, the East End of London, the Olympics will change that part of the world forever and leave a very positive legacy. Richard also mentioned the current ODA, the Olympic Development Authority Health and Safety Awards. The closing date for those awards now is just in a few days, and the thousands of people involved in that construction project, their health and safety, their workplace rights are really being changed by the many competitors to that competition. So I think what you're seeing here is very much the cradle to grave that we saw earlier on, something happening right now, right through 2012 when the world will be watching, but for many years beyond that too.
Now, CSR is obviously all about being socially responsible, caring about your environment and about people's lives. But today we're in a recession. A lot of things come down to money. Do you think it's difficult to get the business case across with CSR?
I'd say it's the exact opposite. At this time, you've got to show how you are different from your competitors. You've got to show your angle. If you're not doing it, your competitors soon will be. CSR is all about managing your bottom line. It's looking, we all know from a safety point of view, the economic benefits. The same thing goes with environment for saving money from energy and resources. Supply chain management makes sure that the businesses that are likely to go under, you're going to be making sure that your organisation is aware of that and thinking in the future about where we're looking for it. So I think that yes, the recession is on. Yes, we know there's difficulties, but this is our chance to shine, come out bigger, stronger, and to be identifying where the problems are, so we've got a strength for the future, build that legacy again.
Stephen, Richard, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.